And so we have another chapter that is not worthy of the singing intro. I'm sorry. I know you're all here for my monotone singing in a loud and obnoxious way. And this time, no. Sorry. Not for this chapter. Not for the previous. No. Not like this. Not like this. I'm not singing for subpar shit. I'm not doing that. You know, I'm putting myself out there on the line for this shit. You know, trying to be that young kid in American Idol to get the big break. Britain's Got Talent and all that fun jazz. And, you know, if the judges are going to turn their backs and not even going to listen in the first place, then I'm not going to be here for it, you know. So, that analogy made no sense. But, yeah, at this point, guys, this, and gals, this video, it's Griever, blah, blah, blah. It's Yona, blah, blah, blah. And right now, Yona, it's not looking good. It's looking kind of, it's not looking good. Hopefully, when we get back to Yona and the rest of the crew, which we do at the end of this chapter, hopefully when we actually refocus on them, maybe some things will sort of pick back up again. But how did this go so wrong? That is my question. How did this end up happening? How did it go wrong? So fast, so quickly. You know, at least with the Yona situation, that was a slow death. That was poisoning our character, ironically called The Poison Spreads this chapter. Yeah, the poison left over from the mediocrity of the Yona character trashing has now bled over into the plot itself, not Yona as a character. Yona, I guess the poison escaped her character and boom, has now spread, as I said appropriately named this chapter, the poison spreads to the actual plot itself. Because now, a lot of people have theorized this. A lot of people theorize that, the burning of Hiryu Castle and the shrine, the destruction of the shrine, will kill the dragons, or damage the dragons, or hurt the dragons, or regardless, yada, yada, yada. You know what the big plot hole problem with that is? You want to know what it is? It's a 4-letter word. It's a 4-letter person. It's named Zeno, who has been trying to off himself for a few hundred years plus. Alright? Like, listen. Zeno was not always in the best of headspaces, okay? Zeno went through some shit. But the fact of the matter is that he's better now, but before he was looking to die. He was suicidal as hell. People say that Kaido from One Piece is suicidal. I don't buy it. I think that's just a fan-made up theory. You know, with one line of dialogue apparently circumventing his entire character, which, you know, but in this particular instance, we know for a fact that Zeno, because Zeno himself said that he tried. I'm pretty sure he said that. And the fact of the matter is that if Zeno had been looking for a way to end the cycle of dragons, to end the cycle of rebirth, to save themselves, you don't think he would have tried burning that fucking shrine down? You're telling me that idea never crossed his rather intelligent mind? That maybe the shrine itself held some type of power? Because he knows about moving away from Hiryu Castle. The closer he is and the further away it affects the dragons and himself included. He knows this, so wouldn't that go, maybe that shrine's a little important? Maybe it's got some ties to our powers, considering we lose our abilities the further we go? You know, like, the fact, now you've turned Zeno similar to what, because of this chapter, once again, we don't know for certain, but I'm pretty sure the theory that Hiryu Castle is tied to the dragons in some big way, and the burning of the shrine and the burning of the castle is directly affecting their health and their powers, is evidence enough for me to say that the problem with that is it makes Zeno look like an idiot. And for those of you who don't know, Zeno is tied with Hawk as my favorite character in the fucking series. So I have a huge problem with this. If Zeno actually wanted to end the cycle of the dragons, the fact that this never crossed his mind, he didn't bring it up, he didn't say anything, is absolutely ridiculous. Now, you might say, the one defense to this is that he would never want to do that. he would never want to, destroy the shrine in the place of course, King Hideo and stuff like that. The man tried to off himself in some pretty grisly ways. He was not in the right headspace for a lot of time. You could argue that Zeno sort of went a little insane and slowly gained his sanity back. Remember, the man's been alive for like 2,000 years. I think wasn't that confirmed that it's been roughly 2,000 years? That means Zeno's been alive for 2,000 years, give or take. So there was a period, a couple of centuries, you could argue, where he was not in a healthy place, that I'm pretty sure nothing was mattering to him. And we saw this during his part of his backstory. So I would argue no. I would argue that all this does is break an already established character and make Zeno look dumb. And what else has it accomplished? Because now the dragons and Hawk and Yona and everybody's going to go back to the castle. Yona had a premonition of the castle burning. Great, now she's got visions and stuff like that. And I'm like, no, we were fine without her having visions. We were fine without that. That was her mother's ability. That was her mother's. And yes, we have the inherited ability thing. That's very classic in shonen and shoujo. But in this particular instance, we did not need that. Yona established herself. She doesn't need to be, the poster child for, this ability and that ability. I gained the tactical mind of my father and the compassion of my mother, and I gained this and that, and I'm the sweetest deal you've ever seen. No, we don't necessarily need that. She doesn't need the power of her mother to be a great character. And for 200 plus chapters, we didn't really have any indication. There might have been one or two instances. I'm not 100% sure. I haven't reread the series in a while. But I don't remember there being any foreshadowing for her having premonition abilities, other than the fact that we can go, well, her mother had visions, so clearly she's going to have visions one day. That's so cliche. It's so boring, and it wasn't necessary. And now, it's going to bring Hawk and Yona and everybody back to the castle. Probably too late to do anything. And I have a lot of problems with this. And plus the fact that all the stuff that happened previously to this, like before the burning of the castle and all that stuff. Hyo-ri is apparently really wounded but alive. Also, these Drosmos that we were like, okay, so there was one little argument in the back of my mind, and I saw it in a couple of spots around the World Wide Web. I saw a couple of spots where people said, well, these Drosmos, there's only like 6 of them, and they're supposed to be the top brass. They're supposed to be the amazing lethal killers similar to Hyo-ri. They're supposed to be South Kai's most deadliest fighters. And I'm like, all right, fair enough. 5-on-1, whatever you want to call it. I still didn't like it because Hyo-ri's supposed to be so fucking dangerous, and the fact that he didn't really take any out, you know what I mean? It didn't make any sense. So now the fact that he got back up and he's gravely wounded still. Okay. Well, the big middle finger to all of that is that Chagol, Mr. Emperor balding head fucking creepoid over here, calling a woman a cat all this time. Hello, my little kitty. Hello, my pussycat. Jesus Christ, don't you want to just take his face and just mush it into something? Anything where breathing is going to be an issue or a problem, drowning his face in whatever you can do, giving him the waterboarding treatment or whatever. The fact of the matter is that he goes, oh, you don't think I truly just came here with a handful of Drosmos? No, boom, army of these guys apparently. Army of these guys. Yep, no, don't care, fuck you. So, what are we doing right now? We have insulted one of the best characters in the series of Zeno and his intelligence. We have given into a cliche inherited powers from the parent. Shit for Yona. Unnecessary. We have then fucked over the power scaling for Hyo-ri. Completely destroyed his character. Destroyed. And the plot kinda sucks. Right now, I don't care what's happening in the castle town. They're burning the castle when they shouldn't have been able to because Hillary was there, and for over 200 chapters we knew this man is a one-man fucking army. Gwen Tai is a one-man army. Mundok is a one-man army. Hawk is a one-man army. The dragons are armies unto themselves. We know this. I don't care how powerful these Drosmos are supposed to be, and now you're telling me, oh, no, there's not just 5 or 6 of them. No. There's like 30 of these guys. I do not buy that there are 30 dudes in South Kai trained to that level, strong as these guys. I don't buy it. You have broken the power scaling completely in a shoujo. How did you fuck up power scaling in a shoujo manga? It's so easy not to do that. It's so easy. It's kind of impressive. If I wasn't so pissed off that they are really ruining Yona for me, then I wouldn't be, like, I'd be actually impressed that they managed to butcher and 180 a power system that was so fucking easy to follow and so easy to, like, it's actually impressive that they managed to fuck it like this. They bent it over and inserted Rod, and we're all supposed to just sit here and take it. And I'm sorry, I'm very pissed off at this chapter. I read this chapter yesterday, and or this morning, I should say. It was very early, but I read it right before work, and and then of course everything else happened today, but. I skimmed through work, and I realized I am not going to like this. When I read this in detail, I am not going to like this. And then when I came home, and then, everything else, I read it again, and I read it in detail, and I said to myself, what is this? Like, I don't even like the direction of the plot right now. I don't like that Cha Gol is here. I don't like that the Drosmos are here. I don't care about Mei Nien anymore, especially now with all the bullshit surrounding her. The start of the drop-off was when we introduced her into the fucking story. Is she a bad character? Not necessarily. Is she a great character? Fuck no. Is she carbon copy of Yona? 80%. If you were going to argue who's a Yona clone, I'd go with her. 80% match up in that bitch. And it's been the start of the decline ever since. And the only noteworthy things that have happened since then are the moments without any of that with Hawk. When Hawk was on his own, captured and bleeding and blah, blah, blah. That's the only time that I think I've last enjoyed Yona. Like, and even if we jump back to Hawk, it's just like with the Yona shit. Before this, at the beginning of this arc, the Yona shit is ruining my enjoyment of the manga completely. Even when we get good Hawk chapters, I'm still like, yeah, that was a good chapter. Too bad right now I don't like the plot line. And right now the plot line is also ruining stuff. So I gave you guys a bunch of reasons. I don't want to ramble for like 25 minutes. If this was going to be a real review of Yona, you guys know I go between 20 and 30 minutes for usually, because these chapters are longer, a lot to discuss. And there is stuff to discuss. I just don't want to fucking talk about it. In all honesty, I got better things to do. I got supper to eat. Like, nah. This ain't hitting. And now I have zero expectations for 231. Zero expectations, and I'm hoping to be pleasantly surprised. I am not dropping the series anytime soon, because a few floppy chapters, you gotta sort of take that. It's a bit of a roller coaster every time with long-running series. Sometimes you're really gonna not like directions that are taken. But there was no reason for this, and they're really trying to not just stab us with a knife, ladies and gentlemen, just twist it and see how many turns of that knife they can get before we fucking go, all right, we're pulling the knife out, enough's enough. Like, they're like testing our patience, they're testing our resolve a little bit here. And honestly, I'm a little tired. I'm a little tired of it. Had a long weekend, So, anyways, what did you guys think? Let me know in the comment section down below. Like, comment, subscribe as always. Fourth and most importantly, definitely, if you're going to keep reading Yona, you need some alcohol. And we'll see you guys back here. Drink it responsibly, of course, as always. But couple shots of this or a couple of drinks in you would probably ease over the transition of reading from the greatness that was Yona to whatever the hell we're reading now. So, anyways, no expectations for the next few chapters. I'm waiting to be disappointed and hoping to be pleasantly surprised when we get back to something worthwhile. So, anyway, might be a little harsh. Guys and gals, let me know what you all think in the comments, of course. And if I'm just sounding like a butthurt fan or something like that, let me know that too. You know, maybe I'm too harsh. I don't know. But anyways, that's it from me. See you next time. Bye-bye.